Ichigo Kurosaki is a character that gets a lot of hate. Even though, from a writing point of view, he technically has no reason to be hated. Ichigo doesn't make necessary stupid decisions, or he doesn't have a lot of weight on his back to make mistakes all the time, regrets all the time. He's not that kind of character. He's not dumb. He's very intelligent. He's very chilled. Ichigo, from a writing point of view, there's really nothing to technically hate on him. People just find him boring. And I always feel like people use the word hate for literally everything, even though in the context of your argument, using the word hate just doesn't work in every opinion or every argument you're trying to make for a story or a character. I understand Ichigo is boring for others, and even I can admit maybe giving Ichigo a little motivation for something, even if it's small, you could argue that could help him a little bit. But Ichigo is a simple main character that wants to become stronger to save and protect his friends and his family. After losing his mother, he made like this vow that he doesn't want to go through that ever again. He wants to save lives. He doesn't want to have any regret ever. And you clearly see that progress when he has the chance to save a life, which is Rukia Akutsuki. He put a lot of time and effort and sweat and training to prove his point to Byakuya after they first met. And when Byakuya finally acknowledges Ichigo as a person, that Ichigo knows now that he was never really his true enemy. Ichigo was fighting against the law that Byakuya was respecting. Byakuya came to an understanding to himself that he wants to follow the law, but he also has a promise to protect Rukia all the time, no matter what. And he was at a little of a challenge for himself, like which path do I go to? You know, if I save Rukia, I'm also going against the law. And then Ichigo and Byakuya had this understanding that he was never fighting to defeat Byakuya in that matter, but he was fighting the law that Byakuya was following, not necessarily because Byakuya didn't care about Rukia. He was just in a situation where he didn't know what to do. It's like when people compare the situation with Itachi, because Itachi's so powerful, he could have had a million other options to get out, which is not true. Sometimes it's not about power, it's about politics, respect, and coming to an understanding with yourself of which path to really choose. And Byakuya didn't know which path to really go towards. And Ichigo was like, hey, if I were you, man, I would fight the law. I would defeat it if I could. And that was really unique, that Ichigo doesn't have to have this massive goal just to serve a purpose. And I heard something from another YouTuber a long time ago, that Ichigo fights people who already have ideologies and different beliefs. And when Ichigo fights them, he comes up with his own for an understanding. And that's something I never thought about. And that was really, really clever, whoever brought that up. But Ichigo just saving and protecting people, I can get behind that you find that boring, but that is not a good reason to say that he's a bad character. A lot of people appreciate Ichigo more because he's more realistic than Naruto and Luffy and Deku and all the other shonen protagonists. Ichigo is built different. He's more realistic, more laid back. He's really calm as well. He only gets pissed off when you piss off Ichigo, and my god, Ichigo has some hilarious moments in this whole series. I believe that, yes, you don't technically need a huge goal to make your character grow. There's always different kinds of growing and maturing for a character. Some people want the main character to get pushed all the time, and I get that. But Ichigo, like I said, he meets people who already have their mindsets, plans, and he goes up against them, challenges him by fighting them, and the more that he fights his opponent, he comes to understand them and maybe possibility respect them. Ichigo even respected Grimmjow and Ulquiorra at the end of the day after he defeated them. I love it when main characters respect their enemies. It doesn't all the time work well, if you know what I'm saying, but if the writing is done right, it works. And I think the writing works perfectly well when it comes to Ichigo. Also, real quick, Ichigo's Getsu Tensuko, how can anyone not love it? It's such a classic thing, next to Bankai and Bleach. Bleach as a whole has some really iconic moments and iconic dialogue. It's really cool. Ichigo is awesome when he has to go all out with his hollow form. When Ichigo activates his hollow powers, you cannot tell me it was not lit. Ichigo has some really badass lit scenes. I'm sorry. Now then, when it comes to the fighting in Bleach, you could argue the fighting in Bleach isn't all that clever. You could argue also that the sword fights are simple and they're not over the top, but that doesn't make it bad. Some people actually like things to be simple and not go overboard. So when you go overboard sometimes, it becomes unrealistic and a little bit iffy. So Bleach just fighting with its swords is also just normal and fine. I can understand why you expect a little bit more, but Bleach's fights give you good fights when the moment is right. It's not over the pack with Naruto, like it gives you a fight every few episodes. When it comes to Bleach, when they build up a rivalry for Ichigo with another character or a connection with another character, and when you get that battle, Kubo definitely delivers it with his main character Ichigo. He does build up a few things, trust me. Now then, Ichigo as a whole character, in my honest opinion, I may not connect to him the most, I may not relate to him the most, but I can completely respect that he's just a simple human being that just pushes and tries to do what is right. He loves his family, he loves his friends, he wants to work hard to protect them, he challenges people who already has their mindsets and their game plans planned, and Ichigo comes to an understanding with them. That is not bad writing at all. And I think Ichigo does get a lot of slack, and I like Ichigo. I really, really do. I actually like him a lot more than Luffy and Naruto at sometimes. I think Ichigo, you could argue he probably is the best main character out of the big three only, because how he stands out a bit different than others, and he's actually the most mature. So I'm not trying to downplay the others. I've even criticized Naruto as the main character a few times on my channel, so I'm trying to give credit to Ichigo right now, that there's a lot of moments where Ichigo downright succeeds over Naruto as a main character. You just gotta find those moments, and I just want to give credit where credit is due. Ichigo, in my opinion, is a really, really great main character. He has some great lines, great dialogue, great moments when he fights, the way that how he comes to an understanding with some of his enemies as well, and he just pushes and fights for the right reasons, and like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. And I can completely understand the criticism that you want more from Ichigo, but I don't think Kubo was going for that. It's either that or he just didn't know how to write that kind of formula. But all at the same time, this is my perspective. I have not seen Bleach as much as I have seen Naruto. I really, really love Bleach. I love it for different reasons, but it will always have a place in my heart. It may not make it my top 5 or a top 10 out of all the animes I've seen, but if we're just talking about shonen anime, Bleach is definitely number 2. Alright, I am D-Lux. Subscribe if you want, and let me know your thoughts and opinions about Ichigo Kurosaki, and stay Bankai weird.